Today on FTRTV, we're going to check out my Alkatronic. G'day everyone, my name is David Mine. Welcome back to First Time Reefer TV. Now, we all know as reefers, it is constantly a pursuit of ultimate water parameters and just constantly keeping stable water parameters in your system. And there's no secret that there is, one of the biggest keys to success is keeping your water stable, your parameters stable, day in, day out, and avoiding those swings or spikes in the system that can be detrimental to the life and well-being of all your coral. Now, I've spoken previously that it's all about getting in tune with your system and testing regularly, testing daily even at the start of your system until you get the swing of what's happening with your system and picking up the little tells when something's not right in your system. That's what's called, that's what I call keeping in tune with your tank and being able to identify problems as soon as it happens. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can test, and personally myself, I really love the automated testing side of things just because I'm really busy and I don't have time, unfortunately, to just sit there with little test kits, although the HANA checkers that are available these days do make it a lot easier in regards to testing units for not that much expense either. You're probably looking at about $100, maybe about 50 cents to $1 or so per test. But in my opinion, I think it's completely worth it if you do live a busy lifestyle. You can take it that one step further and actually have units that can completely automate your testing as well as dose to your systems as well. For that full automation where you don't literally have to touch your tank at all or test your water apart from topping up reagents. So, this tank now is starting to really crank along and do pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with the results so far. And it's been sort of like a really slow, steady sort of grind to get to this stage because, it is a bare bottom tank, which is always, potentially a big recipe for disaster in the first 6 months or so. But now that the tank is stable, it's starting to really kick some goals. But, one of the biggest keys to success in my tank is really being able to keep that KH stable in your tank. And that is the amount of times that I've seen online about people saying, I've just had a KH swing and it's basically wiped out my tank. For me, I think that's probably one of the biggest fears that I have having a reef system, and having something like the Alkatronic unit that I'm using on my tank certainly helps pick up when your tank isn't doing so well, but also just being able to feed results to you. You can check daily, hourly, every 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, depending how many times you want to set it to test a day. But the beautiful thing is this unit actually doses as well. So let's jump down into the control cabinet now and check out the unit, how it operates and how it works. All right, so here is the unit installed in my controller cabinet right next to all of the other controllers that are sitting in the tank there. That one there's the Gday Great White Skimmer controller as well. And I've got it to the side here up at the top, and you'll notice that underneath there is the Focustronic unit as well, which we'll talk about in another video down the track with how they operate together. But you can see the unit here, it's got a beautiful finish on the outside. It is in a big case like that. And in all honesty, it's not as big as what it did seem on seeing it online with a lot of the pictures. So pleasantly surprised with that. But it's got this easy to read display screen on the front here, and you can see it currently displays DKH high because I've got my warning settings set at 8, so we're just a little bit over that at the moment as well. Here's the time display, and it also gives you the current DKH reading from the last test as well. So if we open up the unit and have a look inside, you can see here it's got the testing beacon, a pH probe, and a series of dosing heads here that pull and flush out water and also can dose as well. So you've got this one here, which is pump C up the top. That is actually connected to my reagent reservoir that just sits underneath here. And that pulls the reagent from that reservoir to dose into here in order to get that reaction in the chamber to measure the DKH. A will be the one that sucks out water from the tank, and B is the one that puts water back into the tank. You've got pump D down here as well. So this is The beauty about the Alkatronic is it's a completely standalone system. It doesn't need to be in an ecosystem to work, and it can test as well as dose your alkalinity in the tank, so for full control and automation. There's a couple of different features which we'll go through on the app as well on how it operates. But really, really neat, sits inside a beautiful case like that. And it's something that you actually really want to put on display, as I have here, because it's just, you know, something beautiful to actually look at. And if we have a look at the side here, I'll just bring the camera over so you guys can see that. So you'll see on the side of the unit here, there's a series of nipples that come out that you can connect your lines to. So that top one there is your reagent line there. And this one is the water in, which is the water coming from your tank, and there's the water to go back out to your tank. So the water, once it's finished testing, according to Focustronic, is completely safe to go back into your system, and I do put it back into my system, and I haven't had any adverse effects at all from that. Then we've got your alkalinity in and your alkalinity out. So that'll suck in from your reservoir if you need this to do your full control, and that'll go out into your tank. And then you've also got a drain line here that you probably should connect, which I haven't, just in case the unit overfills and decides to flood your tank. So we'll run through the app now and run through a single test as well, and just to see how the unit operates. Now, before we go into a test, I'm just going to open the app here to show you some of the features that are available on this app. So like I said before, I love that this unit is obviously run by standalone in its own ecosystem, but even better, it's got an app that's all ready to go. And it's a really fantastic app as well, with really easy to use features. And you can see here, this is the main screen, which a bit of my alkalinity tests there. You can see by the blue dots on the right hand side that the alkalinity is just a little bit above what I've been set that I want it to be at. I'm not using the Alkatronic to control my alkalinity at the moment. I'm purely just letting my Dosetronic dose to the system, and using the Alkatronic basically just to monitor my pH as well as my DKH, and sending me alerts just in case if anything is off. So I'm slowly trying to raise my DKH in the tank, so I'm okay with that, testing every couple of hours at the moment just as I'm raising it. But then I'll adjust the fields of the upper limit there, and adjust the lower limit just a little bit higher once I've got it above there. But you can see the graph there, all the alkalinity is tracking perfectly. Yeah, beautiful. pH, the time that it tests, the date that it tests as well, and it logs it for quite a few. You can see there it goes all the way back to the 12th of August. Right up to today, which is the 18th of August, and it'll show you there the last time that I was online, which is 2 minutes ago, and when your next measurement is scheduled as well. So if we go into the settings, it'll bring you over to this page here, and you got up the top there, extra measurement. So extra measurement is when you want to push through your own test as well. So you can just click on that there, confirm that you want to push through a test, and then it'll manually just push through a test for you to begin. If you go into general settings here, you actually just input your reference values. So my aquarium volumes are about 1400. I think we're actually probably close to 1500 litres. My measure interval at the moment is every 6 hours. And you can see the low reference point there. So if it drops below that, I'm going to adjust that now to 7.5. And for the high reference point there, I'm going to adjust that to 8.3 at the moment. You make sure to hit save when you do all these settings, but you've got the reference DKH as well, so you can check the alkalinity that's in your tank at the moment to measure it against the Alkatronic, and if it is off, you just enter the values into here for the make two adjustments to the Alkatronic in order to get your readings correct again. So we're just going to hit save, get out of that, your settings have been saved. We'll go back to the rest of the screen. So you got action mode here as well. If you turn that on, that's going to allow your Alkatronic to fully control your system, which I've currently got it switched off. We got washout mode here. If you turn that on, then it'll automatically just, if the readings are off, do a retest straight away by washing out the unit and doing another test. Go down to pump calibration. That's obviously pretty straightforward when you want to just calibrate your pumps. And you'll notice there that it does ask for your Alkatronic unit number, just to make sure that you are actually authorized to be able to make those adjustments. pH electrode calibration, which is obviously just calibrating your pH. B and C calibration, that's what I'm not entirely sure, but I'm assuming that's calibrating your B and C connection for an extra pH probe. Prime test pump accuracy there, so you can either prime the pumps if you've had any air in the lines, and you can also test the pump accuracy by going into that. We'll go back again. Then you can also test your pH electrode calibration. So once you've finished your calibration of the pH probe, you can click on that, and that'll allow you to test and turn it on, and basically it'll give you a reading of the water that's in the beacon. And once you have your pH probe sitting in a 7 pH solution, you can make sure that it's also reading 7 pH after your calibration. Refill solution, that's just refilling the reagent, and then it can reset the counter, so then it can alert you when your reagent's running low. And you've got your DKH alerts here. You can DKH high only, DKH low, DKH high and low. Let's turn that to DKH high and low. You've got to remember always to, in the bottom here, hit save and make sure it tells you that it's been saved. Then we'll go back. Then you've got forced test interval. I've got that set to every 2 hours if the DKH is off and outside of your parameters, but you can adjust that down to 1 hour or 3 hours as well. You got here Dosetronic mode. That's when you connect it to your Dosetronic, which basically gives you the ultimate control of dosing on your tank. You can adjust all of your balling method dosing, alkalinity, calcium and magnesium, depending on your DKH results. Then you've got fast mode. Fast mode is for those tanks that have super high consumption. And if the Alkatronic is making any adjustments, you'd add it into fast mode, and that ensures that, you know, it's dosing it all in one go, the adjustment that's required, so then your tank doesn't crash because, you know, it's consuming more than the Alkatronic is actually dosing to your tank. You got here the correction method. You got the correction method here, which is overall dosing adjustment, or you can do a selective dosing adjustment. So overall, it'll overall and adjust all of the parameters, or selective, you can just check out whichever parameters you want to actually dose. Then you got the plug settings here. You can actually turn on and off a calcium reactor or a dosing pump or a kalkwasser reactor, however you see fit, depending on the plug that you've got. Which comes with the unit as well. It's just a Wi-Fi plug. Then you can clear the data. The Gen 2 upgrade, I think that was just... actually, I don't know what the Gen 2 upgrade was for. You can also unlink the Alkatronic from your account if you decide to sell it. You can shut down as well, which is to completely turn it off. Then you can export all the data out. So you've got it there for you. But that's a run through of the app. But let's go down now and have a look at the unit actually putting through a test. So let's go through and push through a test now. So let's go into my settings, hit extra measurement. We hit this button, measurements will be started shortly. Make sure the unit is online. And then we should be into starting. So you can see there, the test is preparing. Let's put this into time-lapse mode now. Alright, so that wraps up my video of the Alkatronic unit from Focustronic, and I hope that helps you guys a little bit to understanding how the unit works and why DKH stability is so important in your tank. Now, I suppose you guys are going to want to know what I think about it, and personally, I absolutely love the unit. And there's a reason why this unit is used across not only a lot of tanks across the world, but also a lot of commercial facilities as well. The readings are incredibly accurate, and being able to maintain it as a standalone system for complete DKH control is absolutely priceless. It works straight out of the box after a calibration, even with a fully functional app as well. Being able to connect it to your Wi-Fi makes it really simple. And I'm a dude that loves technology, but I can't say that I'm tech savvy at all that much. And when it comes to a piece of equipment, I do expect to be able to just get it out of the box, connect it, it does its updates, and away you go. There's no there's nothing else outside of that. The unit obviously looks really beautiful as well. There's probably just one little gripe that I do have with the unit, and probably the only negative that I can see is it is slightly on the noisy side. And I know that they've made improvements in order to make the unit a lot more silent, but there's no questioning that you can hear this unit when it's running. But if you're only testing it, 3 times a day, it's probably not that bad, because the test only runs for about 10 minutes. So it's not going to be the end of the world, but probably my only gripe that I have with the unit. Alright guys, so that comes to the end of the video. If you guys like this video, please smash that like button over in this corner here. If you guys got any questions whatsoever about the Alkatronic unit, please leave a comment down in the comment section down below. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow, and you can see more of this beautiful tank behind me. And my friends, until next time, peace!